Hello everyone, happy 2022, welcome to another video. Today I'm gonna do the demo highlights review of the entire year of 2021. If you just want to see the demos and not me ranting about them, there's a playlist on linked on the description below, where you can just go and watch all the demos and skip to the ones that interest you the most. I'm gonna give a overview of the main demo parties that happened throughout the year and the highlights that are the best releases on those parties, in my humble opinion. If I missed something, let me know in the comments below if I missed your favorite and why it's your favorite. Anyways, on with the video. The first entry that I wanted to show you comes from DiHALT demo party. And I'm going to show to the link here. Void by Invaders. It won the low-end demo combo for the ZX Spectrum, one of the best ZX Spectrum that we had the entire year. The Halt had a few other interesting combos. The low-end intro combo had a lot of interesting releases. Zen by Agenda being one of the more interesting ones for the Atari XL. Superform by Marquee Design for the ZX Spectrum also was pretty good. And the winner was Gleased by BFox for the Spectrum, which got nominated for a Nano Award. You can see the little icon here. Still from the Halt 2021, we had Pico Nick by Demarch, Stardust and Migas, which was a remake of the original Sneak demo, which you can see has already tons of remixes. It was a challenge at some point. This version in particular was quite interesting because it's not supposed to run on the Pico 8, and they made some different changes, so it's not just the original demo. It has some different parts as well, so I think it was pretty good. But this one got second place. The first place was for a demo made in Scratch by a 10-year-old kid, and that was actually quite decent. So congrats for that. I think that's awesome to have new generations in the demo scene doing stuff again. Super Kids by Access Team. It won the Halt 2021 that took place 7th and 9th of January 2021. Moving on to other parties, we had Saunasolmu in Finland, also in January. The main demo that was released there was Rebirth by Finnish Gold, who are somehow making a bit of a comeback on the last few years, which is cool to see that. Then we had OMZG happening, an online event, which had a pretty cool Shader Royale event, if I can say so myself being one of the organizers of OMZG. The Shader Royale was very cool to witness. We also had a demo release made mostly by Black Pawn. Also, I helped with some stuff. Heart of Mulvania was, I think, turned out pretty well, if I can say so myself. And then there was a concert by Ob Kuplup and friends, which became kind of mythical. I think this was one of Genio's best concerts to date, and he has done many Demoscene concerts. And of course, the mythical figure of Igor with the accordion really came to life and had a life of its own. So if you haven't checked out this concert, I do recommend you checking it out. Other parties that happened in the beginning of the year, 21 and 23 of February, we had Chaos Constructions Winter. There was this release, which was one of the best 512 byte intros from the year, in my humble opinion. Become Love by Marquee Design, Blossom and Super Rogue. In Germany, we had BCC Party, and there was this C64 mega demo released. None of Us Are Getting Out of This Life Alive by Atlantis, Delicid and Access. I think it's pretty good for as far as C64 mega demos go. I'm not an expert in C64, but I think this one was a decent effort. Assembly Winter also had a winter edition this year, even though it was online. It spawned like a few weeks long. The main release there was Argon by Wideload, a demo made by Wideload. It coincided or overlapped with Lovebyte, which was the first instance of this party focused on tiny size intro stuff, and it had a lot of releases. It had a record number of releases. The one that won the 256 byte compo was Up Up Down by Sense Install. It got nominated for Nano Awards as well. There were a lot of other very good releases. Gyroid by Rolla won the 128 byte. Quarter Express by Agenda won the old school 256 byte intro, also got nominated for a Nano Award. Marbles in Marmor by Desire completely blew everyone's mind on the TIC 80 by using custom palette tricks for it. And Blake 32 by Marquee Design was also a big landmark, also got nominated for a Nano Awards. But if you check the number of releases of Lovebyte, it's ridiculous. So many releases we had, and this didn't count for music and graphics. It also started a bit of an uprising on the TIC 80 size coding scene, because he had a dedicated, or it was inundated by TIC 80 releases on the Virtual Console, and had a Byte Jam specifically, putting face-to-face people coding the TIC 80, and that really boosted TIC 80 popularity a lot. So very big year for sized coding things, and Lovebyte 2022 will happen again this February in the year 2022. So do check it out. Moving on, The Gathering 2021 is still happening, still has a Demoscene section, even though it doesn't have that many releases. The winning one was this last year, has been. Not very good. There is a global pandemic going on. At the same time, overlapping dates, we had also Revision, of course, as always. Revision 2021, which had an amazing 4K procedural graphics compo. You have to check you should check the release itself, the video release of the compo, because it has the entries more or less divided by quality. So it has like this crescendo and a lot of very high quality releases on this compo in particular. But moving on to other compos that it had, Fisher Hawk Doctor by Melon Design was very interesting Amiga demo, got second place. First place went to the Martini Effect by Flex from members of Iphigenia with some outside people. I don't know why it's called Flex. I guess they just wanted a new group name. I don't know. In terms of Amiga intro, Planet Disco Balls by Planet Jazz won that compo, and it was pretty decent as well. Amiga Capella by Gaspod won the animation compo, also pretty good. Also referencing Amiga. Can Robots Take Control by Metaddiction and Arcus, putting the CPC back into activity. There's been a lot of high quality releases on the CPC throughout the last 3 years, ever since Batman Group did this huge mega demo for the CPC. There's been a lot of continuous releases for the CPC. Every year at Revision, there's some very good CPC release in the bare minimum, and this one was no exception. I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you have a CPC. This one got second place on the old school demo because the winner demo was D0 by Desire for the Super Nintendo. Also pretty good demo. The intro got second place was Delightful Attributes by Darklight and Offense, which was very interesting because it was the first time they released for the ZX Spectrum, this group in particular. So the rest of the Spectrum scene got very pleasantly surprised by newcomers to the Spectrum scene, and the intro itself was pretty good, doing some stuff that is out of the box for what other Spectrum demos usually have. The winner of the old school intro was Phosphorizer by Loonies and Logicoma for the C16 or the +4, I'm not sure anymore. This category in Poet involves all of them, so I'm not quite sure, but it is for one of them. Pretty good intro overall. I enjoyed it. Moving on to demos, I can recommend More by MFX. This really made me miss the big screen because this is a very in-your-face demo that definitely needs a big screen to have the full impact of. Another demo that really stood out from the compo was There by Still. Very hypnotic, mesmerizing, slow-paced demo, totally my cup of tea, and they executed it brilliantly, and a lot of people resonated with a lot of people. So congratulations to Still, probably one of the best demos of the party, probably one of the best demos of the year. A New World Awaits by Basic and _Blink was exploring some interesting tricks using fractals to create a world, rendering fractals, using some organic camera movements, some interesting stuff. Not totally my cup of tea, but still worth checking out. And the winner was Arcade by Spectrals. Another demo by Spectrals. They already won Revision last year. This was the follow-up, appealing to some arcade nostalgia, and it worked. It won them the party and the compo. Moving on to the 64K compo, it's pretty good compo at Revision this year. A condition by FMXCat, excuse me, got third place. Deus Servidei by Nuance got second place and managed to kill the stream. Was the intro that was playing while the Twitch stream got cut. So this scene in particular of the deer shooting lasers, it happened, this scene, and then the stream got cut, and everybody was like, what the hell? What happened? The deer killed the stream? No, apparently it was some dumb rule by Twitch that some people felt it was violated, and we had to find a backup plan, but everything got resolved in the end, and we managed to see this intro, Clean State by Conspiracy, who ended up winning the 64K compo. Very clean, very good rendering, a lot of content, awesome music, music very reminiscent of what Logicoma has been doing on the past compos. Not very imaginative in that regard, but overall very stellar presentation and execution. And for me, it was a shame that Logicoma didn't participate on this compo to see the comparison between both groups using the same style of music. And Logicoma would probably do a different kind of content and see what would be more appealing to the general audience. But it is what it is. 64K compo isn't very active these years. Hope it picks up again. Let's see how things evolve. Other intros from Revision worth mentioning: Ephemeral by LJ and Prorex won the 4K combo. Seraph by Rola won the PC 256 byte compo. Actually got third place at the 256 byte compo, but it's really good technically. Got nominated for Nano Awards as well. In second place, we had Dragon's Lair by Desire, which also felt impossible to do. It had some weird pre-calculations that manages to do some ray tracing in DOS in 256 bytes, and the winner was Light Crypt by Alcatraz, also nominated for a Nano Awards, and also quite mesmerizing to also ray tracing 256 bytes. How is this possible? So that was Revision, as always, one of the bigger parties of the year. After Revision, we had a little bit of a lull. There was Transmission 64 that happened, focusing on the C64 scene. Unity by Padua and Atlantis is the best demo that was released at that party, in my humble opinion. But overall, Transmission 64 was a very good success. A lot of good entries, also on the graphics and music compos. So if you're a 64 aficionado, you should definitely check out the stream from Transmission 64 and participate in future events that happen. Then we had Outline 2021 happening online, 13 and 16 of May. The main demo highlight for me was Square One by MFX, who won the compo. Brilliantly executed, great soundtrack, and a great design that fits with the theme of the song. Or maybe the song was made to fit the concept of the demo. I don't know. I have to check with Uncle X and RP and the rest of the guys. Also worth mentioning is Architecture got first place on the combined 256 bytes. This was really good high resolution graphics, or at least it looked a high resolution to me. And fake isometric 3D stuff in Linux in 256 bytes. It was really cool to see. The French people decided to organize a party this year. It's called Shadow Party, 21st and 23rd of May. They organized this to compensate other parties that used to happen physically and were not happening in this year. So they organized this one virtually, online. A lot of releases. My main focus is actually for a Wild Compo entry that won the Wild Compo, an augmented reality demo, doing a cover of Second Reality pretty much, but it was funny to watch. Maybe not much replay value out of it, but definitely interesting to check out if you are scarred by Second Reality, as most of the modern demo scene is. Moving on to Sweden, we had Forndata Summer on the 5th of June. Some interesting stuff. I guess the most relevant one, I did enjoy Conway's game of Breakout very much for the concept being different out of the box from everything else, but the main demo was Subway Art by Manamana. Some decent very long art and some decent music on it, so it's worth checking out. It was added lately to Poet, that's why it doesn't have that many thumbs, but it was really well received at the compo itself. Releases outside of compo, they still exist in 2022. Melon design represented with Cortez got huge acceptance, 87 thumbs up. It's just a man running, but it was well executed and people liked it. Also in Sweden, we had Gubbdata on the 2nd and 4th of July, which had a lot of good releases. Rule 30 by Andromeda marked the comeback of Andromeda, the original Andromeda, not Andromeda Software development. It was great. It was totally on point, great demo for the Amiga, and welcome back Andromeda. Hope to see more demos from you. Really cool to see, and probably one of the best Amiga demos of the year. Then on the C64 we had Bromance by Bonsai, very good demo, also probably one of the best demos of the year for the C64. And on the Wild combo we had something for the C64 but only using the disk drive, Free Spin by Reflex. I guess some people clearly knew that it was possible, but this was the first time that it was actually executed, and brilliantly executed, and you have to check the video to understand what exactly is happening here. They use the CPU that is only on the disk drive of the C64 to make the whole demo run on the disk drive and not the actual C64. Crazy stuff. Moving on to Hungary, we had qbparty happening on the 2nd and 4th of July, same weekend as Gubbdata, and main demo was Oculus by Umlaut Design, in my humble opinion. Gargai showing, actually 64K, Gargai showing what happens when Chaos Theory doesn't have all the motion. So it's like, you can feel that there's a high-paced demo behind it somewhere, but everything is stopped. So it's like abandoned industrial kind of ambient. Clever concept, not entirely well executed in my humble opinion, but still worth checking out. Ocnus by Umlaut Design. Then we had Underground Conference starting around the same date and lasting for a whole week. A few releases there of interest. Equala became a bit controversial because of the feminist and trans rights lyrics on it. Well, the lyrics were mostly for feminism appeal in the Demoscene, have some solidarity for the women trying to do some stuff in the Demoscene instead of just dismissing them as females that can't possibly program anything because females can't program, which is wrong in the modern society, as we know, but it's a culture that's been impending since the 80s and 90s in the whole computer scene and by derivative in the Demoscene, and that some people are trying to revert that tendency. The winner demo ended up being Galar Hydrant by Space Pigs, which is a great concept demo of a fire hydrant dancing away or raving away. Awesome demo, another Space Pigs mind-blowing thing, which I totally support of. I think this was a great release and great winner of the compo. Also worth mentioning is Jazz Up the Scene, which was a compo that was shut down because of a big rainstorm, but they ended up being able to play it anyways after 1 hour has passed. A lot of good covers of a lot of good Demoscene production soundtracks, but with a jazzed up theme around them, which Genio and KB and Daria managed to pull out. Moving on to Poland, we had Lost Party the 8th and 11th of July. So ending on the same weekend as Underground Conference. Had a couple of good releases there. The one that I wanted to focus more is Wi-Fi Video Game Filler by Busysoft. It won the ZX Spectrum 256 byte competition, and it got nominated for a Nano Award. In Sweden, there was a demo party happening as well. This weekend. There were 4 demo parties happening on the same weekend. I had my 4 monitors here at home, each one with a different party streaming at the same time. It was crazy, which usually happens on summer Demoscene parties, but usually they're not all online, so you don't get to watch them all. This year was special. Anyways, Edison had Alt Cure by Five Finger Punch, which was the winner old school demo for Amiga OCS, which is pretty decent Amiga demo. Then we had Meet the Meat 4K intro that was also pretty good. Spores felt very on point. Was the winner demo, and second place demo is also interesting for being completely out of the box from what you would usually expect. So well done Rebels there with Coles no se Acapulco, whatever that means. At the same time in Poland, I think it's Poland, Sommarhack in Poland, was it Netherlands? I'm not sure now. But anyways, at Sommarhack, we had a lot of good, interesting releases for the Atari. The main one that I wanted to highlight is Pause by SMFX, Decadence, and Cerebral Vortex. I think it's one of the best Atari ST demos of the year. Not the best one, and you're going to see why in a few parties, but this one was definitely good. In the United States, we had At Party at the end of July. The main entry that I wanted to highlight is Project Eden by Marquee Design. Marquee Design being very proficient throughout the whole year, doing different releases for 512 bytes and 256 bytes. It's just another one of them, but considering all the things that are inside the multi-parts, it's still very much worth highlighting, and it won At Party 2021. In Germany, some people organized an open-air demo competition or demo gathering, ATWOODS Summer Open 2021. The main demo that I wanted to highlight was Wolf Lava by the Electronic Knights. Very good stuff for Amiga, I think doing some HAM tricks, if I'm not mistaken. That was pretty good. Then we had Nevoke on the 14th of August, single day, but a lot of interesting releases as is normal on Evoke. DRT5 by Still won the demo compo. Was also worked as an invitation for the Deadline party happening physically in Berlin in 2021 later in the year. And then we had a couple nice 4K intros as well. Conway Ticket by Team 210 and A Session did a very good take on the Game of Life. And 0% by EOS and Prism Beings won the 4K compo, which at Evoke usually has some very good entries. This year had less entries, but the quality was still pretty good. In Poland, we had Silly Venture 2020 plus 1. It was the delayed edition from 2020. I'm not. I think this one, 2021, was the edition that was supposed to be from the previous year. 2020 happened in 2021, but it's called 2020 because it was delayed from 2020 until 2021. To make things even more complicated, there's another Silly Venture that happens in December, which is called Silly Venture 2021. Both of them happened in 2021. This one is called 2020 plus 1. The other one is called 2021. Okay, now that we got this out of the way, there's only one entry that I really wanted to highlight from this edition of the party in particular, which is this one that you see right here. First Love by Overlanders, the return of Overlanders. Amazing demo for the Atari ST. A lot of tricks, very long demo, great stuff, great music, great graphics. The best Atari ST demo of the year, in my humble opinion. So yeah. That was happening in Poland. Meanwhile, in Hungary, 21st and 22nd of August, we had a small party called Arak party. I wanted to highlight Triplex by Lethargy. Lethargy been very active on the C64 scene on the last couple of years, and they've been doing some great work, so it's great to check out their demos. 1 week afterwards, in 27-29 of August, there were a couple of parties happening at the same time. Jumalauta Sausage Fest was obviously the most important one because it's Jumalauta. Line work by Tios and Jumalauta was a TIC80 demo that was released for the TIC80, and it was pretty good. Not overwhelmingly exceptionally great, but for the first time doing a demo for the TIC80, I think Feller did a great job and was really compelling to work. Same time in Poland, we had Xenium happening with a lot more entries being released. I wanted to highlight Picology by Marquee Design. It was the first time you did a 256 byte intro in Pico 8 because the card just couldn't handle the size. They had to figure out some tricks similar to the tricks that they had been developed for the TIC80, now being applied to the Pico 8, and we finally had a size limited production in it. Not that much content because you don't have much room to do stuff, but just the fact that it exists is already a stellar technological achievement. So if you know the limitations of the Pico 8, this intro should surprise you. Then we had Daltonism by Joker, which is probably one of the best demos for the ZX Spectrum of this year, compatible with the 48K, I believe. Then we had the Parallel by Futurist on the PC demo compo, getting a second place, and first place went for Aurea by Mad Wizards and Radiance. And yeah, good solid demo on Polish parties by Polish groups. Another release that I wanted to highlight was a 4K winner entry, Before I Slumber by Altair. Altair have been doing a lot of good stuff on the demo scene, and 4Ks have been one of their points as well. This one is one of the best 4Ks of the year, definitely worth checking out. Chaos Constructions was happening in Russia, same weekend. Two releases that I wanted to highlight: Devolver by Stardust for the ZX Spectrum, and Deadpan by Screw You for PC. I think it uses cables.gl for rendering the stuff. Both of them worth checking out, and yeah, not much else to say. Cool that the Russian scene still keeps organizing demo parties throughout the pandemic. Chaos Constructions managed to organize 2 this year, which is a pretty good achievement, all things considered. On 3rd and 5th of September, we had Flash Party happening in Argentina, I think. Yeah, Argentina. Why was I thinking something else? Because there was this silly conversation happening recently about a demo party happening in Mexico, and I got the idea in my head that Mexico should have a demo party, but it's been happening in Argentina. That's the only country in South America that they still have our demo parties regularly. Flash Party has been doing great work, especially throughout the pandemic. They opened up online, been getting a lot of releases. They push forward the South American demo scene. They interlink with pixel artists, chiptune artists, with old BBS scene from the entire South America, and then been getting a lot of international response. So if you have missed Flash Party on this last couple of years, I do highly recommend you check it out and support them. One of the releases that was released there was Requiem for a Piggy by Brainless Coders, and if you read the fine print, it says, "Here lies the last fellow who gave a piggy to PS Enough." There's a story behind this. So Pest has commented on one of my TIC80 noise intros that this was the wrong kind of noise, and playfully on Discord I made fun of him that he just doesn't understand art and that he should make a TIC80 intro themselves, and this meant war and that we should battle on the TIC80 to the death, and he accepted my challenge and decided to make a TIC80 intro himself. Really good. You can see excellent composition, the clouds, the The little seagulls are actually the V's being scattered around the letter V. So great use of the stuff. And the plus there, the cross is actually a plus sign from the font as well. So very good use of the font to relay the stuff. And great to see Pestis active on the TIC80. Even though it flames me, I don't care. It was a great release. Other stuff also released at Flash Party. The winner entry from the 256 byte compo was Flowing Triangles by Shy, and they had 3D voxels in 256 bytes in the TIC80. I don't know how this is done. It looked like magic to me, and congratulations to Shy for winning the compo. A couple more entries from Flash Party worth highlighting. Enord by Leah was also a very good 8K. Actually, it's only 6K long, but it rounds up to 8K because that's the definition we have on the Demoscene. And the winner demo from Flash Party was the Impure Express by Impure 1940. Huge long demo featuring a lot of Ashi art. If you come from the Ashi and Nancy scene, you have to watch this demo. It's a total tribute made to the Ashi and Nancy scene, and with a modernized take on it. Totally great. You have to check it. One of the most best concept and well executed demos of the year, in my humble opinion. The Impure Express by Impure 1940. Moving on back to Hungary, we had Function happening physically 10 to 12 of September. Second place on the demo combo, we had a Rainbow Clash Presence by United Force and Digital Dynamite. Rainbow Clash, as always, top-notch, stellar stuff, but the winner entry was actually concept by Umlaut Design for MS-DOS. Guy going back to his roots and doing some MS-DOS stuff. A lot of tribute to some different demos from the 90s. In that aspect, it was appealing a bit to nostalgia, but it didn't really feel like it brought anything new to the game. So for me, it was a bit like, it doesn't have much replay value, but it's cool that people still do demos for MS-DOS in 2022. Just wish it was a bit more imaginative, original, instead of trying to recreate the stuff from the 90s. But, you know, that's personal taste. On the C64 compo, we also had a very cool follow-up. Lethargy made a remake of a demo from Gargai, originally called Median, and they remade it entirely in Commodore 64, which is impressive since they had a lot of 3D scenes. And the Commodore 64 isn't known for having a 3D accelerator card, so yeah. Really cool to see this, really good take, and yeah, they only got second place because the winner demo was a huge mega demo by Atlantis celebrating their 30-year anniversary. Thirsty by Atlantis won the Function old school demo compo. A couple other releases from Function worth mentioning: Bing Bang by Arky, 4K with an interesting concept and music, the pre-calculating some stuff, and Mems by Dezign completely blew my mind. I think this is the best 256 byte release of the year. Got nominated for Nano Awards. Let's see if other juries of other voting people from the Nano Awards will agree with me or not, but for me this is the best of the year. Mems by Dezign, completely insane how that's fittable in 256 bytes. The first Lovebyte were so successful that the organizers decided to organize a Lovebyte Battlegrounds at the end of September. It had more focus on byte battles themselves and not so much compos, which were quite fun. You can see I helped cast on some of those battles, and you can see the results here. They had the theme that you could or not follow, and I think we had a lot of cool stuff. Also a lot of people that were coding on the TIC80 for the first time, and I think we had a lot of cool results. One of the most insane things that I ever saw in my life was Super Rogue coding, implementing a version of Quake in a ray tracer in 256 bytes. Well, Quake Doom, not Quake, but it looks more like Quake than Doom in my humble opinion. That was just totally insane, and Mentortonic was just totally wrecked in that semi-final. So Bro ended up winning the whole shebang, but yeah, it was a great series of videos to watch. Another entry that I wanted to highlight was This Is a Broadcast by Matt Current, was a demo for the TIC-80. Yobe been known to be doing some of the best demos on the Pico 8, and it's great to see him on the TIC-80 also doing some stuff, pushing the quality, the bar of quality on the TIC-80 demo scene. Worldwide Zoo happened online for the Commodore 64. The release that I wanted to focus is Morkrum by Diormas, very in-your-face demo, dark techno-ish for the Commodore 64. Deadline happened physically this year, 8th to 10th of October. The releases that I wanted to highlight were The Last Minute by Lucid, a very great 4K intro in my humble opinion. Probably will also get nominated for the best 4Ks of the year. Beep by Proxima, also very cool to see some more BBC micro stuff happening, coded by the people from Proxima. This one got second place on the old school demo compo. Not sure which one got the first place. Why don't I have a lined up here? Old school. Tinfoiled. Okay, C64 demo won the old school demo compo. It doesn't have that much votes, that's why I didn't have it listed here. But I have to rewatch it to make sure if it's high quality or not. Should be. I guess it won the compo. Anyways, other releases worth mentioning from this party. The Proud Flesh by MFX was spooky shit. By MFX once again, got 4th place, and in 3rd place we had Luna by Sleigh Bells, which were also very tight sync with the music, and I really loved that. I think these were the two of the best releases of the compo itself. Inversion by Rebels got 2nd place, and Tempos by Pete Bendas got 1st. I didn't really like what they did in Tempos. It felt a bit disconnected between the music and the visuals. That's why I ended up not highlighting, but I ended up talking about it anyways. So, now I guess I will have to include it on the playlist. If you like psytrance with some nice visuals, it's good. If you're expecting a psytrance trip, it's not that fitting, in my humble opinion. A lot of people disagree, so just watch it and judge for yourself. The Sec Light happened 22nd, 24th of October, mostly focused on the acid music compo. They also had a few demos. Solvebox by 1st of December and Insect is the main highlight here. Then we had the Initial Demo Party in Portugal happening physically as well. A lot of great releases. A special highlight for Caffeinate by Bitshifters Collective. Probably the best 4K executable graphics of the year. Humble opinion. Also the first release of P. Melon on the Demoscene, and what a great first release it was. Welcome to the Demoscene, P. Melon. Hope to see more stuff from you. Then we had Nacho by Nacho Average Hombres winning the combined demo compo at Inertia Demo Party. Roasted Lemon Shark by Rift, also worth mentioning on the Portuguese remixed demos. Was Mantratronic roasting me for some stuff that I did. For me, it became legendary, and I think it was very good because it was originally made for JavaScript, and they managed to fit it into TIC-80, so that deserves some praise as well. Other releases that happened were worth mentioning was the 512 byte TIC-80 compo that we had. Glory by Yobe was pretty good, and Crackle Bass by Brainless Coders won that compo because it had some crazy multi-parts which felt impossible to fit into that size limit. So that was the highlights from Inertia Demo Party. Moving on to Assembly Creative Tech on the 5th of November. They managed to organize a one-day compo event at the Opera in Helsinki. They had some interesting releases. The main one that I wanted to highlight was Death Room by the Planet of Leather Moments, with some spooky stuff happening, and Tripus Lunaticus by Extreme for the Atari Falcon 030 that won the compo there. In the US, we had Demo Splash on 12th and 13th of November. Logo Dreams by Desire made a little bit of a joke to old logo-derived graphics execution. It's cool to see more activity on Apple II. So congratulations, Dieter, for another cool Apple II demo. And then we had Byte Thrower by Sense Install, an invite for Lovebyte, and also 256 byte intro in itself that won the compo. Closing down to the year, we had the modulation also happening in Russia. The main demo that I wanted to highlight was for the BK0010. It's a CSQL demo 2021. I think it's pretty good for the BK. Had a lot of interesting scenes and graphics. The BK is a very limited machine, so very interesting to see what they can do with that. Transmission had a fall edition as well to compensate for the fact that the X demo party wasn't happening in 2021. They did an online alternative to that, and Submerged by Oxers and Rat Designs was the winner demo there. Also, again, excellent graphics compo, excellent music compo. You have to check those releases if you enjoy pixel graphics and SID music. Steel Avenger had their 2021 edition, the winter edition, they called it, to distinguish themselves. Few demos worth checking out. COVID demo by Altair won the Atari XL. Little Me demo by Overlanders won the Atari ST demo compo. And then some cool stuff by Oxygen. 4K SOS had a Shader Bob winner effect, world record effect inside 4 kilobytes, and they also did a version with some mod playing routines inside 4K for the Atari ST, which felt a bit insane. So a lot of size coding stuff happening or being prepared for the Atari ST. Hope to see more of that coming up, possibly at Lovebyte or Revision this year. Let's see. Another release that I wanted to mention is Possible by Acid Maker Scorpio and Jakub Husak, the Polish Spectrum scene, doing a new demo, which is... The Spectrum scene is mostly dominated by Russians and British people, so it's really cool to see Polish people stepping up and being more active again on the Spectrum scene. We had Tokyo Demo Fest happening in Japan on 11 and 12 of December. Had a really cool shader showdown that I helped do some hosting, commentating on, featuring all Japanese-based shader coders, so really bringing out the Japanese talent. And what a great shader showdown it was. Very high-quality stuff all the way from the quarterfinals to the final. A lot of out-of-the-box ideas happening, not just the standard Raymarch stuff, so really cool to see, and I do recommend you checking it out. The winner entry was a Domain by Observer, a really good 64K, one of the best 64Ks of the year. There weren't that many 64Ks in the year, that's true, but this is definitely highly marked in my regard. In second place on the combined demo intro combo was Amber Sequence by LJ and Virgil, also pretty good. Excellent feeling to the whole thing, and the visuals matched very well with the audio, so one of the best 4Ks of the year in my opinion. They had some entries for some obscure hardware as well. Sharp MZ getting a demo here, and something for the 3DO as well by Optimus and Ham. And last but not least, the year ended up with a Sylvester party organized by Field Effects people. 31 of December to... It ended before the new year, so it was technically only on the 31st of December, but they did like a follow-up on the next day to round up some information. Anyways, productions worth highlighting for this party, in my humble opinion, include Duck Jam by Lovebyte and Friends, which was a compilation, a demo pack compilation of all the people who participated on Lovebyte 2000 and on Lovebyte Battlegrounds, that had a themed battle with the word duck. And apart from the two people who were participating on that battle jam, a lot of people that were also participating on the other jams, but not that particular battle, also decided to code their own take on the word jam. So we ended up with like 4 or 5 different duck-themed shader jammed things, and I suggested the idea to Mantronic to do a compilation of them all. Gasman did a cover soundtrack of the DuckTales original sound, and this production came to life, and it looks really cool, and you can see the code in the thing itself. So it's really cool if you're into TIC80 and size coding, that you can see all the tricks that it's been used. Also for the TIC80 we had Spaceman, a really good demo by Toback. Tells us the story of a wannabe astronaut, which turns out to be a sheep, because Toback is bad at drawing people, so he only draws sheep. One of the best TIC80 demos of the year. And yeah, other releases worth mentioning from the party is 1 Trillion Dots by Rebels. Really interesting way to make demos. It looks different. I think he uses RTX in particular. It's kind of voxel, but not. And it looks really interesting. Not sure if it has that much replay value, but for the tech and the look it uses, I think it's really interesting to check out. The winner demo, however, was a synthwave tribute by Bitbendas called Synthvester, and I think it was really well executed. Both the music and the visuals very on point, and yeah, really cool demo by Bitbendas. So yeah, that was the roundup of the entire year of 2021. It only took us 45 minutes. I was hoping that it was slightly tighter in terms of time. It is what it is. Hope you enjoyed this view, and check out the playlist to check all the demos that we talked about. So yeah, see you next video. Bye bye everyone. Take care.